Hey guys, it's Cam here. I am proud to bring you guys the first game of the Mass StarCraft 2 tournament between myself, FyreStarter, spawning as the orange Zerg in the bottom right corner, and my opponent, good friend of mine, TSteak, up in the top left. Due to the interest of time, I'm gonna have to forward up the first part, as the first part does take a little while. We both do expand, I believe. And just macro up for the first little part. There was a slight pause there, but we are all ready to go, actually. Hatchery down from TSteak, and for myself, nothing too risky. Both coming out of 14 supply. Gas geysers will most likely go up soon. Gas geysers are both done. Anyways, guys, this is the first match in Division 3. There are 4 other matches in this division that I will most likely be casting, so stay tuned for those ones. Queens are out, hatcheries are down. TSteaks is quite a fair bit ahead of mine, of course, because he went for that a little bit faster. My Roach Warren going to be down just a little bit quicker, as I did drone up before going for the hatch. His own Roach Warren will be up too before I'll be able to get anything done anyways. So Roach is coming out for me, metabolic boost almost done. I am going to slow this down back to normal speed now. Now you can actually see what is going on. Nothing too crazy right now. Some roaches starting to come out from Tony. First initial force from me going to protect my ramp. Tony, just 4 lings, but he does have 4 roaches on the way. Early layer tech on the way for myself. Going to be finished around the 7.5 minute mark. We'll have to see what I go for there. That could be either a Spire for Mutalist Harass, Infestors, because Infestors really do they do excellent damage versus armored units such as the Roach, and I do know that Tony does indeed like to do lots of Roach play. Or it could be for the Hydralisk Den, which Hydralisk, very heavy DPS units. They fire very quickly, and at a much higher range than the average Roach. So if you can have Hydras behind Roaches, that is the ideal situation. But now Tony moving out with a lot of Roaches, 4 more on the way. He can see that my force is not nearly as great as his, because this is great Overlord placement. Hydralisk Den on the way for myself. Another 20 seconds on that. It will not finish by the time his force gets here. Tony now at the ramp. He sees what's going on. He knows he can go up and fight this. Flying up the ramp. His roaches trying to target fire. There's a big second there where his roaches weren't firing though. And now that all his lings are gone, he's going to have to back off a little bit. But reinforcing roaches on the way from Tony. Streaming down from his main. He's constantly producing roaches. Nothing else, just pure roaches. 6 more roaches on the way. I'm a little bit supply blocked, so I'm gonna have to make some Overlords. Droning up, actually, not the smartest thing to do while Tony is just pumping roaches down my throat, as there are, as I can see too, that he is just building more and more roaches with my Overlords. Now battle at the ramp. My concaves could be slightly better than his. More roaches are firing, of course, so therefore more damage. But I will have to retreat as his roach numbers are greater. And myself finally starting to get out some Hydras. The Galil Reconstitution, I love that name, is of course the speed upgrade for the roaches, so they will be a little bit easier to maneuver. And now Tony's going to try and barge up this ramp again. His roach numbers are far greater, as he has 27 over my dwindling count to 8, 6. My Queen's going to have to join in, but now with the Hydra support, it will not be enough to make him back off, as he realizes he can still win this, as his roaches are just charging up the ramp, trying to get a Spine Crawler down, but it'll most likely be too late. Hydralisk doing great damage, but without enough roach support, they will not be able to fire, as they are very weak with only 80 health compared to the roaches 145 and base armor of 1. More roaches on the way for me as well as Tony. My roaches will of course arrive faster, as they are spawning right at the battlefield, which of course is my front door. Now having to use drones, I will lose a lot of economy taking these drones off and losing them as well. So all those drones will have to be remade, but Tony's army is being repelled. TSteak down the ramp. Not giving up though, as there are so many roaches coming in, and of course being very good with his eject larvas. Not so great on my side, as he is constantly trying to barge up this ramp and take my natural expansion. Spine crawler going down. He knows he has to snipe that, because spine crawlers do of course do bonus damage to that armored unit, which is the roach, which Tony is making nothing but. And he will not have enough to bust up right now. He will have to wait for reinforcements. As the damage on the Hydra is so powerful and so fast. 12 damage every 8.3 seconds, which of course seems like it's a lot faster than that, because blizzard time works about 1.5 seconds every 1 second in real life. So now Tony, realizing he needs to back off, he will go back to his natural and he will regroup. But some nice juicy overlords out here. If I could pop out those with some Hydras, I would greatly supply block Tony, and which would halt his roach production very quickly, because roaches take up lots of supply because they are worth that 2 supply instead of the 1. Just taking a drink for myself. You can see now that the supply count is greatly favoring Tony, almost a 30 supply lead, which is huge. And there myself, not feeling too confident in my current state of well, everything really. Down drones, you can see that he has 34 drones over my 25 drones. His army size is looking very, very menacing. Trying to push up the ramp, trying to go for the final one, but this is a bad engage for him as my Hydras are shelling him. Spine crawler does go down, but I think I might have enough roaches just to hold on. Spine crawlers are, or not spine crawlers, sorry. Hydras are firing those spines, and it looks like I will repel this attack. So I will have to go on to busy so people stop bugging me. Anyways, chasing him down a little bit risky. He has more roaches, but the Hydras do provide a lot of bonus firepower. So supplies evened up a little bit more. That was definitely a very cost-effective trade for myself. And although he is still greatly ahead, and especially with his +1 weapons about to finish, and no upgrades on the way for myself, and he looks like as though he is going to transition into a state of droning. Yes, 10 more drones on the way, so he realizes he can't win the current state of things because the Hydras are far too powerful for that little choke that I'm using of this little ramp here. I'm actually surprised they didn't try to come from 2 angles and destroy the destructible debris. Maybe he didn't know it was there though. But Tony will be going for his 3rd, while I am still trying to get my economy up and running at my 2nd base. Double Evo chamber on the way to try and get those upgrades up, and also the Hydraless upgrade, which of course Groove Spines increases Hydra's range by 1, so you can fit more roaches in between them and the enemies. Myself destroying the rocks to my 3rd. I will hopefully be taking that soon. +1 armor now coming up for Tony. Also known as TSteak. I know I've been switching between them, but you can call him what he likes. Hatch almost done for Tony, as my hatch is just getting underway. And we are finally starting to see the layer tech out of Tony. And Tony is like, what the fuck? Why haven't I won yet? And with Tony, great saturation on both bases. His 3rd, perfect time for the drone transfers to go up. Apparently Tony screwed up, but